And I also want to speak to the gay community specifically. So I understand that there's this conversation around gay people understand more than ever what it's like to be judged by something you can't control. This is your opportunity to really see that on a different page. And also, I want to let you know every right that you have as a gay person was given to you by a Black person. Let's just be clear. The Stonewall riots were trans people of color putting their life on the line so you could get married, putting their life on the line just so you can even be seen. Every right you have is on the back of a person of color. Understand that. And our whole gay culture is sugar mama this, sugar, oh yeah, mama, I got you, you this, and completely created out of drag queen culture, which is a complete personification, and I would even say an ode to the Black woman is the entire background of gay culture. All Drag Race, all everything. You're here at the Nicki Minaj concerts. You want to pop your ass in the club with us. Stand with us when we need you. It's imperative, and we're calling on you. You know what it's like to be judged for something that you can't control. Don't be silent in this. If you can absorb our culture and you can stand with us, as my lovely wife would say, if you can sit and break bread with us, we need you to show up when it matters.
Right.
And I feel like, to your point, that even goes further to the Black gay community.
Yeah, period. I think that I love how the LA Pride has turned into a Black Lives Matter movement. I appreciate that. That means a lot. These are the things that we need to have happen. And so I agree that what people don't realize is that Black culture is everywhere. We touch everything. We touch and bless everything.
We are the literal seasoning. We have seasoned everything in this planet. Y'all don't even season your culture. We season it.
Period. And y'all like it and y'all love it. You know what I mean?
That's a win for that. What is music without Stevie Wonder? What is sports without Serena Williams? What is basketball without Black people in general?
Hold on. What are genres? Whole genres. Do you know what? The music is rhythm. It's a frequency. We are creating that shit. We are creating different genre frequencies. To me, it's just like, there has to be respect. There has to be some type of care for our people. You know what I mean? That's what upsets me the most. It's like, what do we do? I don't understand how to, what? If you just X this all out, you wouldn't know what to do.
There is no American culture without Black culture.
Right.
And because American culture dictates the world's culture right now, there is no world culture without Black culture. Let's be clear.
I forgot where I was going. I was not even trying to go there, but we went there. So I went, okay? I was trying to go with, yes, when it comes to also Black people as a whole, our Black community, and then addressing police brutality for the LGBTQ community, I think that we need to speak up about these issues.
The conversation really is about all Black lives matter. Including the gay Black lives. So as you stand for George Floyd, stand for our trans brothers and sisters that are being beat in the street by police as well.
Right.
Nobody should.
I think that we talk about police brutality, and as soon as you post something that trans lives matter, that gay lives matter, that lesbian Black lives matter. Sorry, let's be clear. Trans Black lives matter. Gay Black lives matter. The queer Black lives matter. These things, it's like it's quiet. There's no uproar also. There are people who are also being killed recently within the time that George Floyd happened. And it's just not as publicized as I believe that it should be. And I think that to make sure that we're including all the lives, it's important because we're there. When the marches are happening, we're there. I've seen it with my eyes. And it's so funny because what was the dude saying during the march, babe? He was like, he had a little twang to his like to the callback. Yeah, he was like, no justice. It was like no peace. It was just like, it was so good. It was so good. And you could just tell you could just feel he was part of the community. You know what I mean? And it's just like, we're there. We're speaking for our lives also. You know what I mean?
I totally do.
Huh?
I said I totally do.
Yeah. And sometimes I feel so conflicted sometimes. I just feel like, damn, not only are we in a white world, you know, with a white society, but then you get into this Black society and you get into our own community, and that is divided. And I just want us to do this together. That's how we have to go about it. We have to go about this together as one front. We may have different opinions. We may have different views. That's fine. We can still accomplish the goal, the end result.
Absolutely. I posted something last week that said, don't let your homophobia fuck this up. Because the truth of the matter is, our community has not risen as quickly as we need to in regards to gay issues in the Black community, yet we're still being asked to come together for a common goal right now. So we talked about the white people, Black people, to the sound of my voice. If you hear me, it is time to come together as a community because you are going to need us all. Don't leave Black gay people out of the conversation because, like you said, we are on the front lines with you. We are having a Black experience, and every single one of us can have a role in this movement. Don't leave us out because your homophobia gonna get you fucked up.
Right, and to be honest, we're able to get in doors that you may not be able to, and you're able to get into doors that that we may not be able to. And white people, white allies, are able to get in doors that we're not able to. We can go to this movement differently, and that will segment us into the roles of fucking in this revolution.
Yes.
Because we have to understand and have to respect different people's ways of getting into the door.
Absolutely. You said it again, absolutely. I've been literally saying this all week. There are many roles in the revolution. Know your role, play your role. For some people, being on the front lines of a protest, in the face, yelling at a police officer is absolutely where they want to be. For some people, protest looks like a march. For some people, protest looks like I am going to hold my peace in this white-ass job that I'm in right now. And even though I know I'm surrounded by racists, I will still show up every single day. They will not break me. If that is what your protest looks like, honor that experience. I saw a meme earlier this week that was like, governments aren't full of all the people who have the same exact job. To win, if you're really interested in this revolution being successful, there are many different places and many different avenues that we have to look at to be able to achieve this goal that we want to look at. There are going to be people, white people, that need to talk to white people, that are going to be in the back ends of government offices having conversations that are not on social media. Because there are parts of the revolution that, like they say, that cannot be televised, that cannot be on social media. But then there are parts that are very important to be vocal. You've got to know where your role is. And what I ask people to do is think through what you're passionate about in this revolution. Because I think, to your point, there are many different spaces where you can stand in and completely immerse yourself in it and actually make a difference in your portion.
Right. I think that when Trayvon Martin happened, I think that my role was to make a whole Instagram, just like get as much content out. That's where I felt like I needed to go. Yes, I went on the marches, but that wasn't enough for me. So I made an Instagram account and I gave out information. I tried to be the resource. I tried to be the knowledge to put out and show and broadcast the systematic racism that is going on today. And just to show that we need humanity up in this bitch, like, period. And I think that, you know, we have to focus on that everybody's going to come at it from different ways. And we have to respect that. We can't down somebody if they're not able to get to this certain march. We cannot down somebody because they decided they want to make a podcast, or they rather just sign all the petitions and make a bunch of different emails and keep signing different positions. That's different emails. We have to respect people in the way that they're able to do it because they're doing it the best way that they know how.
As long as you're doing it the best way that you know how. If somebody's calling people out and you feel away, sis, only the guilty feel accused. If you don't feel like you're doing what you can, let's unpack that a little bit, right? Look at it, from a perspective of, am I doing all that I can?
Right.
Or am I making myself feel guilty because I think that I should be doing something that I'm not? We have to be really mindful of that as Black people. Really, really mindful of that. And I also think as Black people together, we can't afford to be divided on this. Don't go beating each other up because you don't like the way that they're protesting or that they're doing. I understand all day long. Nobody wants a building to burn. If in a building in my community, trust me, I understand more than most how difficult it is to get the land grants back to be able to get those things reopened in the community. However, I understand the anger. And I also understand that, unfortunately, it's what moves the needle in this country. Americans understand two things: bloodshed and money. Unfortunately, that's the case.
Here's another good example. All right, so they asked us, what was that, Blackout Tuesday? Yes, that was Blackout Tuesday. It's been all over on Monday. That's when I really started to see it on Monday that, hey, make pretty much the Blackout Tuesday, make a blackout post or whatever, where we're not really posting content that has to do with things that are going to move forward the movement. Oh, that's the only thing that you're going to post, or things that are going to push forward the movement.
There you go. I was like, hold on. I'm missing something.
So don't just post a Black post and then put like nothing at all, because this is a revolution that needs to be televised. This is something that we need to be talking about right now. We do not need to silence really anything that has to do with the movement. Okay, cool. Certain people, now of course, you're getting this information from different sources. You're getting it from different sources. So yes, there were people. So people were upset because they were using the hashtag Black Lives Matter. So when you went to the hashtag, this is a hashtag that people use for resources, to try to find out more information, to fucking show justice to show injustice that are happening so that we can get justice, etc. Right? So when you go on there, it's just Black posts. It's literally Black as you're scrolling, right? So early in the day of Tuesday, they started to make posts to say, this is the correct way to do this, right? Okay. Now, of course, certain people did it wrong, but their intent was not to do it wrong. And people were beating them up for it. Like, this is stupid. Why did you do the Blackout Tuesday and use the hashtag? And like beating up on people for not doing it correctly, right? Or beating up on people for not even, first of all, I don't even think people knew the correct way. Even people that were saying that you shouldn't do it, they didn't even know the correct way of doing it, because I felt like they would have just said, this is how you do it. But anywho, all that to say was, this is what they felt called to do. And instead of you saying, hey, in the comments, hey, delete this post and use this, still say what you have to say, but make sure you don't use the hashtag. Use another hashtag, or blackout Blue Lives Matter, or you know what I mean? Blackout something else. Another hashtag. Use it in that way. And still, you can still post other content that has to do with the movement. Or where maybe in your caption, you could say the resources, giving them other ways to protest instead of just beating them up and making them feel bad for of them just being misinformed or not knowing all the information. You know what I mean? I just feel like we have to go about this better. We cannot bash our own people right now. We cannot bash the people that are at least putting some type of effort to move this movement forward. We need we need everybody, every single person. There is power in numbers.
I agree. And I think if you're interested in the revolution long term, you got to realize that you're not going to like everything that everybody do. But the person to be angry right now we need all of us to have a singular focus about who we are looking towards and what we are looking towards. We can't be doing this. We have to do this.
That's what they want us to do. That's what they want us to do. What is it to delete the post and repost it correctly? What is it?
Yeah. And on the point that you just made too, Black people, as you're holding each other accountable, think through that all of us are in a trauma right now. Be kind. Be mindful to your fellow Black person. If they posted the wrong fucking post on Blackout Tuesday, send a loving DM. Like Micah said, leave a comment. Do something that is going to be kind. You don't have to drag people. They dragging us. Don't drag each other.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Because that's only going to make you upset. We're all emotional. So you're going to get defensive. Like, why are you doing that? It's embarrassing to come to somebody publicly, period, and call them out. That's embarrassing, just in case y'all didn't know.
Yeah, and unless you're doing it for a purpose, I would ask yourself, what is the purpose of that? What is the purpose?
What do you want? You want them to change the post? If you want them to change the post, maybe you should think about how you're going to go about it. If you want them to actually change it.
Mm-hmm. Now, if you just want them to sit in their feelings and be embarrassed, that's valid too.
Then you did it right.
That's valid too. That's valid too. I'm just saying, know what the intention is. Be mindful of your intention and be aligned with that action that is aligned with the intention that you're actually looking to resolve here.
And with all of that, with all the responsibility that we feel to go out and to protest however we want to, or just to make sure that we're fucking okay mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, there's a guilt that you feel like you have to do all of it. I gotta sign up petitions, I gotta donate, I gotta make sure I'm on CNN when Obama's on there, I gotta make sure I'm informed of what the curfew is, I gotta all of these different things, and you can feel guilty if you miss one.
Whew, I can tell you, it's my own experience in this. I feel it and I'm experiencing it as well. I had a job before that I could be on the front lines in a different way. And now my version of protest looks like something that's far more behind the scenes. My opinion, based on what I know, far more impactful than anything I've ever done, because I'm moving the needle and watching lives happen and change in the back end, but it's not something that I can get on and say a whole bunch about. And I'm still a Black person having a Black experience, and I desire the front lines. I'm exhausted in the mind, and every minute I'm like, something else happened, fuck, I couldn't catch it, shit, like, oh damn, like the guilt, or just let's speak to the person, somebody like me that's also in a super white space. It may not be safe for you to protest in the way that you want to, and that is okay too, to not beat yourself up and make yourself feel guilty if you can't be the person in your office that fucks up your livelihood because you're in an unsafe environment. You've got to know what happens in your life to the best of your ability, but there's nothing more wasteful than the feeling of guilt, because you can't get that time back. So don't make yourself feel guilty because of what's happening. Know what you want to do, know what your actions are, and just don't allow yourself to have somebody else tell your narrative if you know you're doing all you can as a Black person.
Right. I agree. I don't really have much to add to that. I totally agree. I think that because we have so many different roles, there's no need to feel guilty for what you cannot do. It is making sure that you at least fill one of those roles. Do that and do it well and do it to your best ability.
Also, let it teach you. Let yourself learn. Here's one of the things that I had to be kind of aware of for my own self is, if you are somebody that wants to be on the front line protesting and you know that you can't for whatever reason, my thought process was, if anything happens again, I want to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that I got bail money like that. Are y'all saving your coins?
Right.
Have you looked through what actually you would need to get out of jail in case you did go? Because if you've never been to a protest, shit, can get real. Are you resourced? Do you know kind of what are those things that would put you in a better position to be protesting in the way that your heart would want to? Do you need to leave your job? Is there another job that you could have that would make you feel more safe? All of these things are being illuminated at this time. If you can't act, at least see and allow yourself to be present to all those areas and get ready so you can stay ready and not have to get ready next time.
Right. And I think there's smart ways to, going to what you in segmenting to another point that we wanted to make, was there's smart ways to do protesting. Like, if you know that you are a public figure, or you are someone that cannot be seen out there, like many people have jobs that it will be compromised if you're seen protesting, and there will be cameras and there will be photographs, and those things need to be there. We need to show that we are out there. Right. So with that being said, how can you do this smarter? Maybe wear a hat. Maybe have sunglasses. Maybe you already got a fucking quarantine mask.
Please make sure you are wearing a mask.
Yes, wear a mask. Maybe have 2 filters instead of just one in your mask, if that is something that you can do. Try to cover up pretty much your whole body. I know it's hot out there. Make sure you bring water. Bring you a backpack that has have a first aid kit in that bag. Make sure that maybe you have an umbrella just in case that they throw tear gas. These are things you have to think about. I'll put the links below. I think what was it? Like Japan just had like a revolution and they showed like a whole kit. Was it China? I'm hearing 2 different things. I heard China, I heard Japan. Look it up. I'll put the links below. They showed like a whole like head to toe of what you need.
Yeah, those are the things.
Wear gloves. Be prepared for what can happen. Maybe learn, okay, what if I do get hit with a rubber bullet? What certain areas do I know that I need to go to the hospital? What should it feel like? You know what I mean? These are things that you need to pay attention to. Maybe you go with multiple people. Who's that group? You guys need to have, protocol. When shit hits the fan or when one person gets uncomfortable, what are all of y'all gonna do? You know what I mean? What if somebody gets uncomfortable and they wanna go home? Are all y'all going home? Is it just 2 of y'all? Is it 5 of y'all? You know what I mean? These are things that you want to make sure that you know. Communicating with someone that's not there. Letting someone know that you're going to these marches. And hey, be by your phone. You're my emergency contact. They did an amazing thing. She made a note card for me. And it had my emergency contact and it had like a Bell's Bonds situation. We knew what card we were going to use, whether it be a credit card or a debit card, on how to get out. We had that money personally to get out if we went to jail. These are things that you want to be prepared for before you just go out there not prepared, especially if you're trying to stay past curfew. Especially, you need to be on a whole nother alert if you're trying to stay past curfew.
I would agree. I would say the only thing that I would add to that also with protesting is just be mindful of the day too. So if you have a phone, something you might want to consider is having an external charger so that your phone dying while you're alone at a protest can be a life or death situation. I want to speak specifically to what you said about gay people being in the protest. You all know, as gay people, as trans people, sometimes in Black communities and in communities of large scale, it might not be safe for you. So if you would like to protest, this is an opportunity to go in groups. Never be alone. Make sure there's always a buddy. Make sure instead of maybe having one person, you have 5 people around you. If you know that you want to have a face-to-face conversation with a cop before you go have cocked and get ready to have that conversation, ask that 5 people be around you. Ask that 3 people film. Hey, you over there, can you film this interaction so that you can ensure that there's an extra level of added safety? You have many different options. Just be mindful of looking through those before you move. This speaks to me also to, the other little tip I wanted to say was on your hand, on your forearm here, or somewhere on your person, it would be smart to write down ACLU numbers. There's a bunch of groups right now that are putting together bail funds. You want the phone number to a bail fund, because if you do happen to get arrested, they finna take your phone. If you're somebody that's a millennial like me and you don't have numbers memorized, you might want to have it somewhere. Important things to note: writing on your person and permanent marker. I know it's sweaty, it could move off, but find your way to have it be something that could be on your person, or memorize the number. Something else to think through: if you are not comfortable being in the protest, being on the front lines, one of the things that you can do is set up a couple blocks off. Bring your canopy, bring your chairs, bring a couple coolers and have water. Hand those waters out to the protesters. If you're a prayerful person, go out and pray over protesters. Have conversations and make sure that people are okay. If you have an extra amount of funds, donate to a bail fund. Grab granola bars, maybe hand those things out. You want to look for a role you could do from the house? Be somebody like Micah's emergency contact. Be the person that's watching it on the news live stream so that you can warn people who are in the protest. Hey, some fuck shit's finna go down in La Mesa. Watch it. Hey, cops are moving over here. Watch it. And you can be that eyes for people who are on the ground. There are many, many, many different roles. Many roles.
Right. It's not, you don't have to just get out there and be in the march and put your feet down in that type of way. You can get involved in so many different ways. I know that I saw people I saw a person pull the car over, put out a case of water right in front of the protest. And it's like you could tell he came from like the 7-Eleven, put forth a case of water, and then just left. He wasn't involved in the protest, but he's like, I know you guys need water. It's hot. Boom. Like, these are the ways that you can give to these people. If you're staying at home, there is so many ways. I saw like Nina Pop, which is a trans woman who passed through, who was pretty much murdered through police brutality. Her fund is like at $1 million. People are donating. People are out there. They are giving money. Like, and these are the things that we need. We need the money to back us to start these cases that will easily be brushed under the rug, easily, if we don't pay attention to it. So those things are being seen. Go and petition. Go to Black Lives Matter. Figure out what you can do. I know they have a website. I know they have a list of things that you could be signing up for. And I know it will take more than a day to go through. So I will make sure to put some of the links of the stuff that we are mentioning in this session today down below. So if you can't catch everything, it's okay. Just go down and I'll make sure to list everything for you. Last thing is your mind. It can take a toll. I'm pretty sure even this conversation alone, you're like, whoa, like, it's a lot, and you're doing it again, minute by minute, hour by hour. So how can we make sure that our minds are rejuvenated or can get centered and grounded?
I think a good place to start would be, one, to realize that as a Black person in this country, you're living through a trauma right now. As a Black gay person in this country, you done double down, sis. So give yourself some grace and allow yourself to feel what it is that you're feeling, experience what it is that you're experiencing without making yourself wrong. The worst thing you could do right now is beat yourself up for really anything when you're in this very heightened traumatic state. That was my first one.
It's easy to do that. Even when I called you, I felt like I was bugging you. I felt like, why am I doing this? I know she's busy. I know she's doing something right now. And I felt guilty for having a raw moment. So it's so easy to do that. But it was valid. It was valid how I was feeling. It was a lot for me. And you're my friend, So anyways, I was just wanted to just address that it could be very easy to guilt yourself or to make yourself feel bad or to try to like check your emotions. Like, I shouldn't be feeling this way.
Yeah, I agree. What would you say would be one of your big tips for how people can maintain their mind at this time? Oh, one other thing I want to say before you say that. Remember, this is a marathon, not a sprint. If you want to make it, you're going to need to maintain your mind, which is why we're talking to you all about this. Black people, we need you, and we need you sane. We need you happy. We need you joyful, because we're going to require you to be able to give what you need to give to this revolution. And if you're depleted, you will not show up the way we need you to. So you have to fill your cup.
With that being said, that's with the littlest things. With all of this is trauma. The TV is trauma. So with that being said, it can make you not feel like you want to eat. That's how serious this is. Feeding your body. That's to the basics. Feed your body. Make sure that you're eating. You're consuming so many things that you could just forget to do the basic stuff. Making sure that, for me, therapy has really been helping me. Having an outlet somewhere. I remember even like yesterday, I wanted to call my family and just pray. That has never happened. I just wanted to call my whole family and just pray. And I think I'm going to do that today, because it's just like, and I don't care I don't even care that we pray into different things. I don't even care that they are Christian and I'm not. That does not bother me. I just want to be able to get to the source to be in one unison of togetherness of we know where we're at, and to put the energy up into the universe. You know what I mean? What about you?
I would say I have two main tips to start with for maintaining your mentality through what we could call revolution. One really is to center your breath. I think it's important to go within and do what you can. We always talk about starting off these things with the breath, and having your babe mention the breath earlier today reminded me how important it is to remind Black people to breathe. We have to breathe into your body. Your breath is your access to your body being able to relax. Deep inhales, let yourself fully sit and breathe. One of my favorite I'm in some fuck shit and I need to hurry up and get out of it remedies is to turn on one of my favorite songs. Either I like Beautiful Chorus is we'll link in the description. Beautiful Chorus is a really great start for some meditation music. And it's just like a mantra. It's basically like your grandma's old hymns where they have one little sentence and it's repeated over and over and over again. What that does to the mind is it lets you focus on the melody, focus on the word, and your body just start to relax. I put my left hand over my heart, right hand over my belly, breathe deep, and just listen to the song until it's done. Try to sing along if I can, and it really helps my body to get into the moment and kind of release and process through whatever emotion is up and, not letting me process. So I would say start with the breath. Quick, simple prayers that I've heard a lot of people pass around is the Ho'oponopono prayer, which is like, thank you, forgive me, I love you, and I'm sorry. You can just say those things over and over and over again to yourself. The words don't matter almost as much as the repetition of getting yourself to just be in something that's repetitive so that your body can kind of calm down. My second tip I'm going to say, and this is a tip that I have seen with all my Black spiritual people, this is a time, if you have never done before, to start getting in a conversation with your ancestors. There are so many of us who have woken up all of a sudden over the last year to African traditional religions, African diasporic religions, or just in general, a conversation about your ancestors. The ancestors around you have dealt and waded through this shit that we're wading in right now for generation. Call on them. If you are confused and you are looking for guidance, sit, pray, be with your ancestors. It's a great opportunity to look into ancestor altars. It's a great opportunity to look at, figuring out how to get back into the roots of what that means. This is a good opportunity for that. I highly suggest people listen to A Little Juju podcast. If you would like to start that conversation, Sis has all the resources for where you can start and where you can go from there. I stand Juju in this place, so I always suggest people go there to look. It's been my greatest resource for starting that journey within myself. And during this time, that has brought me more peace than anything else, is feeling my ancestors behind me saying, like, you're built for this. Not only are we going to be all right, but we've been waiting for this and we got you. Right. That has brought me more peace than anything else at this time.
Right. I think for me, it's, what was the other thing that I had? I had one more thing. Oh, yes. Cleaning your space. Cleaning your space right now is really important. Washing your body, taking the shower to rinse off the day, to get it off of you. It could be a form of baptism. Of course, that's what water is used for, to clean, to cleanse. So to make sure that you're in a good space, your environment is fine. Clutter can really hold stuff. You know what I mean? So be mindful of your home environment. You know what I mean? Make sure that is clean.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
We are still, there's still some level of a pandemic outside. So honestly, don't forget in all of this to be mindful of your hygiene for that reason as well.
Yeah.
I would say maybe one more thing of like a mental health thing, and this is for white people, Black people, all people in general. There's a lot of misinformation happening right now and a lot of things that are coming in, like do this and then don't do this at the exact same time. Find your news resource or find your resource and stick with that resource. It will help you from having all these conflicting opinions happening at the exact same time if you're being overwhelmed by that experience. If you're enriched by that experience and like being able to see all the different angles, do you, sis? But if you're feeling overwhelmed, limit what is being fed to you. Obviously, limit your time on social media, but also limit your news resources if that's something that you feel overwhelmed by.
Yes, and there's tons of things that you can. There's also like a Black, what is it called? Therapy for Black girls.
Therapy for Black girls
on Instagram. There's also we just got another one, Black Mental Wellness. Also, I can make sure to link their Instagrams below. But there's tons of resources. You can click, once you get to them, you can click and see other Instagrams that are very similar to theirs. So dive into it. If you need more resources, usually, especially if it's on Instagram, it's gonna show you similar pages just like it. So yeah, I think that's what we have for today. I do feel a good release from this situation. I felt like we got our points across what we wanted. I hope that you guys are doing it as best as you can. You got to make sure that you guys take breaks and make sure that you guys are trying to fill your cups up as much as possible before you go out and try to give to really anybody. So yeah, anything else you want to say, Portia?
I just want to say and let you all know that we appreciate you waiting through this, and we see you. So, and know that I'm praying for every one of you, sending love out into the world every single day in my sacred time, sending it out. I hope you feel that love. I always say, if nobody told you they love you today, I love you, and know that love is going to be the thing that gets us through this. Don't forget to love yourself. Don't forget to find joy for yourself. I will be praying joy and peace and safety over everybody over the sound of my voice. I just wanted to put that in.
Yes, I'm in agreement with that. So yeah, thank you guys so much for being here. I know it's a hard time right now. So yeah, we will see you guys next week. Peace.